There will come a moment when your body wants to collapse, when your mind screams to give up, when everything you believed in begins to feel like a lie. But what if I told you that moment is the exact moment legends are born? What happens next will decide the rest of your life. This is not just a motivational speech. This is your awakening. Watch till the end. If you are ready to meet the version of you that refuses to be broken, the kind of silence that feels loud, not a single car outside, just the ticking of an old clock. Tick, tick, tick. He sat on the cold floor, back against the wall, sweat dripping, not from heat, but fear. His hands were shaking, not because of weakness, but because everything was falling apart. He had failed, not once, not twice, but again, and again, and again. He stared at the ceiling. It looked like it was closing in. The shadows danced like ghosts, mocking him, whispering, telling him to quit, telling him it was over. His heart was pounding, louder than the silence, faster than the clock. He looked at his phone. One message: "You are not enough." His breath caught in his throat. His chest tightened, like a weight pressing down on his soul. The kind of pain that feels physical, that burns inside your bones. He stood up, but his legs felt heavy, like chains around his ankles. The mirror in front of him was cracked, but he could still see his eyes. Eyes that once held fire. Now they looked lost, dead, empty. But in that stillness, in that brutal, soul-breaking silence, he heard something. Not a voice, not a sound, but something louder. A question. What if you push through it? What if this moment, this exact pain, was not here to stop you, but to break something inside you? Something weak, something fake. What if this pain was not punishment, but preparation? He clenched his fists, felt the nails dig into his palms, felt his heart start to beat with purpose. One breath in, one breath out. He stepped forward. The floor was still cold, the room still dark, the pain was still there. But so was he, still breathing, still standing, still alive. Because sometimes, victory does not feel like a roar. It feels like a whisper, a step, a breath, a refusal to stay down. Push through it, even when your bones scream, even when your dreams bleed, even when your mind begs you to stop. Push through it, because on the other side of this moment is not comfort. It is not peace. It is something better. It is strength. It is fire. It is the version of you that fear tried to bury, but failed. Push through it. Push through it. Because this pain is not the enemy. It is the invitation. The invitation to transform, to burn away the weakness, to find out who you truly are when everything else is stripped away. The world does not reward comfort. It rewards grit. It rewards the one who keeps walking even with broken feet, even with blurred vision, even when every step feels like dragging a mountain. He walked out of that room. The hallway light flickered, buzzing like an old warning sign. His breath echoed. Walls closed in tighter with every step. But he did not stop. The mirror in the hallway showed his face. Sweat, tears, but no fear. Not anymore. Because something inside had shifted. Not overnight. Not with a speech. But in that brutal, honest second when he realized he had survived everything he once thought would break him. Every betrayal, every failure, every voice that told him he would never make it. They were wrong. He was still here. Not perfect, not unscarred, but still here. And that meant something. It meant he could rise. It meant the story was not over. He stepped outside. The air was cold. It stung his skin. The wind howled like it was daring him to turn back. But he kept moving. The city was still asleep. Street lights buzzed above him, each one lighting up like a checkpoint. Another step forward. Another promise kept. His shoes scraped against the pavement. His heartbeat matched his pace. And in that rhythm, in that slow, unstoppable march forward, he began to feel something powerful. Control. Not of the world, not of the future, but of himself. And that was enough. Because the one who controls himself controls everything. He remembered the rejections, the empty inboxes, the closed doors, the silence after interviews, the laughs behind his back. He remembered every time he wanted to scream, to run, to vanish. But he did not. He stayed. He endured. Because somewhere deep down, he believed this pain had a purpose. Not just to hurt, but to harden. Not to destroy, but to define. The train station ahead was empty. Cold metal benches. Faint echoes of announcements from hours ago. He sat down. Not to rest, but to remember. Why he started. Why he kept going when it made no sense. Why he bled for a dream no one else could see. And in that still moment, he closed his eyes. He saw himself, not as he was, but as he could be. Sharp, focused, unshakable. Not the version they mocked, not the one they doubted, but the one he was becoming. And in that vision, there were no apologies, no excuses, no more hiding behind fear. Only fire, only truth, only the raw, unstoppable force of someone who refused to quit. Because greatness is not given. It is taken, seized in the silence, forged in the failure, claimed in the chaos. And if he had to walk through hell to get it, so be it. He stood up, shoulders back, head high. The sky above was turning blue. Morning creeping in. Soft, quiet, beautiful, like a reward for surviving the night. And he knew. This was just the beginning. The real test was not the pain. It was what he would do with it. He could stay broken, stay bitter, or he could rise, build from the ashes, carve out a new legacy. Not for them, not for applause, but for himself. Because every great story starts with a moment like this. A quiet decision, a breath taken in darkness, a choice made when no one is watching. And now, it was his turn. No more running, no more doubting, no more waiting for someone to save him. He would save himself. He would become the storm, the fire, the proof that even from nothing, a giant can rise. So, if you are in pain right now, good. It means you are alive. It means you are being tested. And if you have the courage to keep going, to push through it, you will not just survive. You will dominate. You will transform. You will inspire. And one day, someone else will sit where you sat, on a cold floor, in a silent room, ready to give up, and they will hear your story, and they will keep going, because you chose to push through it. And because of that, everything changed. They will keep going, because someone before them refused to break, because someone walked through the storm barefoot, with blistered feet and bleeding hands, and still found a way out. You became the reason someone else did not quit. You became the voice that whispered back in their darkness. Keep going. I did. But that moment is not years away. It is not distant. It is now. It is here. And this version of you, this tired, scarred, aching version of you, is exactly who the story needed. Not the polished one, not the perfect one, but the one who knows what the bottom tastes like. The one who stood on the edge, looked into the void, and refused to fall. Do not wait for motivation. Do not wait for certainty. They are liars. They abandon you the second things get hard. But discipline does not. Focus does not. Courage does not. Those are forged in pain, built in the silence, earned when no one claps for you, when no one texts back, when no one believes. But you believe. You get up anyway. You push anyway. Because something inside you is louder than the noise around you. That fire, that raw, unfiltered drive that refuses to stay silent. It tells you, you were not made for average. You were not born to blend in. You were carved from something ancient, tested, refined, broken and rebuilt 1,000 times over. And still standing. Look around you. Most people never even try. They dream with their mouths. They speak of goals like fairy tales, and wait for life to hand them something. But not you. You are willing to suffer. You are willing to work while others sleep. You are willing to sacrifice, not because you enjoy the pain, but because you understand what is on the other side of it. Growth, freedom, power. And when the world comes knocking again, when it tries to distract you, to pull you back into comfort, you will smile, because you know, comfort is a cage, and you were never meant to live small. So stand up, even if your legs tremble. Speak, even if your voice shakes. Take the step, even if your heart pounds like a drum of war. Because this is your battlefield. And this moment, this exact, painful, beautiful moment, is where the warrior is born, not in the victory, but in the choice to continue before victory arrives. You will look back on this one day and realize it was not your wins that made you, but your wounds, not the applause, but the echoes of silence that you turned into music, not the spotlight, but the darkness you turned into light. Push through it, not once, not twice, but every single day. When your back aches from carrying the weight of your dreams, push through it. When your friends disappear and you are left walking alone, push through it. When your bank account is empty and your soul feels the same, push through it. When no one sees your vision and all you have is faith, push through it. Because those who push long enough, hard enough, deep enough, they break through. They tear down the wall between them and the life they deserve. And once they are on the other side, they do not look back, because they know what it took to get there. They know the taste of dirt, of blood, of tears, of lonely nights and brutal mornings. But they also know what it feels like to win, not just in the world, but inside, to conquer the voice that said stop, to silence the fear that said you are not enough. And when that happens, when you finally realize you did it, not because it was easy, but because you were relentless, that feeling is not just success. It is rebirth. You are not who you were. You are not a victim. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are awake, alive, unstoppable. And every scar is now your armor. Every fall is now your foundation. Every no you ever heard is now fuel inside your lungs. And you breathe different now. You walk different now. Because you earned it. So go. Push again. And again. Until the mountain moves. Until your knees bleed. Until you scream at the sky with fire in your chest. This is not poetry. This is not inspiration. This is war. And if you want to win, you cannot stop. Not now. Not here. Not ever. Push through it. Because your future is not waiting for you to feel good. It is waiting for you to act, to fight, to bleed, to rise. And if you have breath in your lungs, then you have what it takes. This is not the end. This is the beginning. The first chapter of the greatest story you will ever tell. The story of how you did not quit. The story of how you refused to be forgotten. The story of how you took every bruise, every heartbreak, every disappointment, and turned it into greatness. Push through it, and do not stop until the world knows your name. Do not stop until the world knows your name. And even then, do not stop, because this is not about fame. It is not about followers. It is not about validation from strangers who do not even know your story. This is about something deeper, something sacred, something so personal. Only your soul understands it. It is about proving to the darkest parts of yourself that you are more than the pain, that you are more than the fear, that you are more than the lies you were told by people who were too afraid to chase their own dreams. They told you to stay small, to play it safe, to be realistic. But real is not safe. Real is wild. Real is uncertain. Real is where the magic happens. And now you are standing at the edge of it. You can feel it in your chest. That silent call to rise, to fight, to become. Not who they want you to be, but who you were born to be. No mask, no filter, no apology. Just truth. Raw, undeniable, untouchable. And if you listen closely, you will hear it. The heartbeat of your purpose. The rhythm of a life earned, not given. And every second you hesitate, you bury that rhythm beneath noise. The noise of opinions. The noise of doubt. The noise of your own excuses. But excuses never built empires. Doubt never created leaders. Fear never wrote history. Only action does. Only resilience does. Only the will to push through when everything screams stop. That is what makes legends. So ask yourself, how badly do you want it? Not in theory, not on paper, but when it costs you sleep, when it costs you comfort, when it costs you everything that once felt easy. Because greatness never goes on sale. It always charges full price. And most people are not willing to pay. But you are different. You have to be. You were not given this fire to keep it hidden. You were not gifted this vision just to ignore it. You were not made with this much passion just to live a life that feels numb. So stop waiting. Stop hesitating. Stop playing it safe and calling it smart. You will never outrun the regret of a life half-lived. You will never forget the pain of what you did not try. And one day, you will sit alone with your thoughts, and they will ask, why did you give up? Why did you settle? Why did you silence that voice inside that was begging you to push through? But if you push now, if you go all in, if you give everything, your future self will thank you. Your children will thank you. The world will thank you. Because one person who refuses to quit can change everything. One person who stands at the fire and smiles can light the way for thousands. That person can be you, if you choose. So get up, even if your body begs to stay down. Get up, even if your mind floods with doubt. Get up, because you are not done. You have not come this far. To come this far, there is still work to do, still miles to walk, still demons to fight, and you are ready. Not because you feel ready, but because you show up anyway. Day after day, pain after pain, step after step. That is what makes you dangerous. The world cannot break a soul that chooses to rise, no matter how many times it falls, no matter how deep it sinks, no matter how cold the world becomes. You keep moving, you keep building, you keep becoming, because inside you, there is a storm, a silent, violent revolution that refuses to die. It is the hunger, the obsession, the need to leave this world, different than how you found it. And that begins now. Not tomorrow, not next year, not when the timing is perfect. Right now, with whatever you have, from wherever you are. Because the enemy is not out there. It is inside. The voice that says, not today. The feeling that says, you are not ready. The fear that says, you might fail. You look that enemy in the eye, and you say, so what? So what if I fail? So what if they laugh? So what if it hurts? I will still push through it, because I know what happens if I stop. Nothing. Nothing changes. Nothing grows. Nothing becomes better. And I did not survive all I have, just to stay the same. I am not here to be comfortable. I am here to conquer, to evolve, to climb, bleeding if I must, crawling if I must, but always forward. And every time I stumble, I rise with more force. Every time I fall, I rise with more fire, because I was not made for failure. I was made for war, and I will fight for my future, even if I have to do it alone, even if no one claps, even if no one sees, even if no one believes, because I believe, and that is all I need. So remember this, when the night gets darker, when the pain gets louder, when the doubt gets heavier, push through it, because on the other side of that pain is your power. And it has been waiting for you this whole time. So now, take a breath. Feel your heart. Feel that quiet fire inside you. Still burning. Still alive. Still waiting for you to rise. This is not just a speech. This is a mirror. It is showing you who you really are. Not weak. Not broken. Not behind. You are becoming. Through every struggle. Through every setback. You are becoming something powerful. Something unstoppable. And no one can take that from you. Because they did not give it to you. You earned it. You bled for it. You showed up when no one else did. So walk forward now. Walk with purpose. Walk with conviction. Even if your hands still shake. Even if your voice still trembles. Because every step you take from this moment on is a step away from fear. And a step toward the future you were meant to live. The world may not understand your journey. They are not supposed to. But one day, they will see your light. They will see what was born in your darkness. And they will know that you were not lucky. You were relentless. So promise yourself this. No matter what comes next, you will never go back. You will never shrink again, just to make others comfortable. You will never dim your fire, just to fit in with the cold. You will never quit, just because it hurts. You will rise. You will fight. You will push through it. And when you do, you will not only change your life, you will show others that they can change theirs too. That is your power. That is your legacy. So go now, with your scars, with your story, with your fire, and leave this world different than how you found it, because you pushed through it. And now, you are unstoppable.